All right, next track is from Briscoe, a Texas band, and the song's Mexican Eagles. This is a band that let me be like fully candid here. When we did some podcasts earlier, you both were able to represent bands that were local, and it was a little bit jarring to me that I had allowed my musical taste to drift so far away from what's local. I haven't seen a local band in concert in a long time. It's just not where my life is. And I just came away from that thinking, I've got to go focus more, not instead of other areas, but I've got to focus on bands that are coming from where I'm from. So I went and I started paying more attention to local bands. And in 2023, this band Briscoe had a debut album called West of It All, and it's very, very good. So I've been listening to this band intentionally and enjoying it a lot since then, and really looking for a place to drop one of these songs on a playlist. And then they released another album this year in September, and it's really, really good. It's apparently a lot of the songs were written during some of their touring and on a long road trip, and I think that the songs are kind of that way. They're kind of like open road kind of songs in the way that it feels, but a lot of just Americana and indie rock, and two guys that met actually in middle school but reconnected at University of Texas, Philip Lupton and Truett. Let's see, I'm not remembering his last name, but yeah, just a really good song. Tremendous piano accompaniment, and the kind of storytelling I think that interestingly fits well in the set of Cicadas and Wolves as well. So Briscoe from Texas, and something that I'm happy to bring forward. I kind of feel like finally I get a chance to bring the band forward. You know how sometimes you're sitting on not a particular song necessarily, but on a band, sort of waiting for that moment, and I feel happy that it's finally come to bear. As it's a really good band, and it sort of reminds me a little bit of Jacko Pierce in terms of just two guys mostly doing a lot of the songwriting, but being very complimentary to each other, and building a lot of local following, having a strong local complement of people that are really into the band. And when I talk to friends in Austin and stuff, they're quick to say, "Oh yeah, this band is sort of right at the core of the scene," and I think that's a lot of fun to sort of tap back into that. So let's see, Brett, let me come to you and see what you think about Briscoe.
I love this sound. I immediately thought of Jacko Pierce and that sort of Texas harmony between two guys that are just have incredibly beautiful voices, and when you pair them together, it's awesome. Also celebrating the local research and diving in. I love that motivated you to find this music. It's so damn beautiful. Like, it's just incredible lyrics and harmonies. I noticed that the album was released in September, but not just any day in September 19th. So that was awesome to see you pick an album that was released on that day in particular, given the jersey number and the lineage around that. When I heard this, and I think, Sean, you had pointed out to us that the natural progression was going to be these three songs in the middle of, near the end of the playlist. It got interested in what a Mexican eagle is. I had actually never heard the term Mexican eagle, and so I did a little bit of research, and it's actually not an eagle at all. It's a falcon. But we have that name because they're widespread all over Mexico, and they do what a lot of birds of prey do, which is catch the thermals, and they'll circle around. And he actually names that near the end of the song, Mexican eagles were flying today, spinning circles inside of my brain. I love that. From what I could tell just about the album, it sounded like this was an album that was written, and this song was written as they were on tour. So I could imagine, Briscoe traveling maybe down into Mexico and, hanging out, and then this song sort of speaks to them. So that felt incredible to catch a little bit of those small details that just feel like breadcrumbs to follow as the story unfolds for this one track. But man, I'm excited to hear where they go. They seem really young and emerging on the scene right now, so that's really cool. Yeah, great pick.
Yeah, thanks for going to the bird side of it, Brett. I was going to go there too. It's the crested caracara, and it's actually the Mexican national bird, which is pretty cool. I was similar because you and I are bird nerds, and a reference to that is cool, especially with them talking about how it's circling, and that drove him to remembering the song. And those, from the instant this song comes on, it is like again, like kind of a breath of fresh air, kind of smooth folk strum, piano is strong, the harmonies are super strong. The part, and maybe it's because I play bass, I hear the bass lines pretty regularly, similar to maybe Sean, like you go into the drum beat and the time signatures, and Brett, whatever horns come in, you're like, I can trombone that maybe, I don't know. But like I hear the walking down bass line, which I think is unique, and you kind of, it sets a tone in a way that brings kind of levity as well as like brightness to the song too, even though it's kind of going down in tone. I think it just has a bit of like a interesting reflection side of it too, when you build that bass line that way. The song is just like, it's like wrapped of nostalgia and like growing up. I love the line towards the last verse, letting the last of our soon to be past get entangled. And I thought that was just, especially as you wrap up a year, like to put a song like this as we wrap up a 2025, which, I'm kind of glad it's in the past. It's a year that's got a lot of challenges, but it's a lot of, brightness to it as well, with some of these musicians that put out some great music this year. Yeah, and I'm happy to hear kind of the honesty with, I went to go find some local acts that I like. I think it's I've been here in the Twin Cities for 10 years, and I felt like I was going to have just like a full Rolodex of like all these local bands, because it's such a big, music scene here. But I can't say I definitely don't have that. But when I do find it, it does feel special. It does feel unique. It's there for us, but I think Houston and Texas, goodness, the backyard of musicians is vast. It's maybe too much to kind of swim through and find the one you do like. So I think it does take that extra effort, like you said, to find the one you like and then ride that wave to say, I want more from them, and to have a new album come out. That's super cool. I like the name Briscoe too. I'd love to hear kind of where the inspiration came from too, but it feels very Texas, feels very the prairies of Texas and the sound that they got, and I'm really happy to be introduced to it.
Yeah. Thanks for those comments. Quick comment on the release date. I was actually traveling at the time, and another good thing that Spotify does is, you follow a band and then it'll give you a notification, hey, Briscoe, who you follow, has just released something. So I immediately start listening to it, knowing that that's a happy moment. Band that I like's got a new record, and I appreciate that is a bit of a push of the new music into my life, whereas there's not a lot of time these days in my life with everything that's going on to do all the pull of new music into it. So I do appreciate that. I think a lot of times you'll hear me rail on the invasiveness of technology and notifications and some of these things in our lives. I have strong opinions that we're drifting away from each other as people and more towards isolation, largely driven by phones and platforms and infinite scrolls and stuff like that. But at the same time, there are times where the notification brings me exactly what I want right at the right time. I think I was traveling and I was able to quickly download the album thinking, okay, I'm about to get on a plane and this will be something that I can listen to. And I was really glad that I did. And the line in the song that has kind of stayed with me is, the cold is gone, but it left me this song to remind me of you. And so it's interesting, the album's called Heat of July, released in September. Here we are in December talking about it as the cold kind of ramps up. And it's probably something that, that happened in the past. It's somebody that wrote a song, in the summertime perhaps, that that was calling back on memories of the past. But I like that thought, and that, it was something about the birds and the way they flew that sort of helped trigger the thought. I think it's a nice thought overall, and I'm happy to bring the band together, and not bring the band together, bring the band to this podcast. The band does all their own work. I have nothing to do with it. So,
Way to go, Sean.
But once I'm done patting myself on the back about it, I will tell you that I'm happy to share Briscoe with you, Texas band. This song is Mexican Eagles, and it's from the album Heat of July.